Hey, you playa? Dating can sometimes feel like a roller coaster of events. Sometimes they're up, you hit it off with someone, you go out on multiple dates, things are going well, and then sometimes they're down. They stop responding to your messages, you feel like you're being ignored, or they just flat out reject you. How you choose to respond to every single one of those events, though, is going to impact the rest of your dating life. And you basically have 5 different choices to choose from. I'm primarily basing that on the 5 Chairs, 5 Choices model by Louise Evans, a behavioral coach and author, who explains that our emotional reactions can range from negative to positive, and we can understand how we feel about something depending on which chair we choose to sit in. Imagine you want to DM a girl that you like that you really want to ask out. You start a conversation with her, you ask her a bunch of questions, you share a bunch of personal stories so she can learn more about you, but she gives you a bunch of one-word replies. She kind of ghosts you for days on end and never really responds sometimes. You start to feel like she doesn't really care and maybe she's stringing you along. Well, you might find yourself in the first chair, which is the chair of judgment. You begin to notice that you're starting to make assumptions about her character. You think that because she didn't respond, she's self-absorbed, or she's stringing you along, or that she's waiting for a better guy to come along and she's actually going to respond to him. All of that judgment is you casting what you think about the person without truly knowing the full story. And when you enter that chair, you kind of close yourself off from being open to the truth and actually understanding what's really going on. Now, imagine that you ask a girl out on a date and she says yes. You go out together, everything is wonderful, you have a great time, but when you ask her out for a second time, she turns you down. Or even worse, she tells you that she really only sees a friendship developing between the two of you. You might then find yourself in the second chair, which is self-destruction. This can happen when you turn judgment inward. You start to beat yourself up and say things like, am I good enough for her? Am I just going to screw things up anyway? Is my nervousness or my insecurity going to be my downfall that it's not even worth trying with her? By sitting in that chair, all you're doing is killing your confidence. You're walking into every potential dating scenario with a failure mindset. You're just assuming that girl's not going to like you and it's not even worth trying anymore. But let's say you're the type of guy that is willing to ask girls out, but you've dealt with rejection so much that you've just become numb to it. At this point, it's just a numbers game for you. If a girl says no, you're not going to get emotionally invested. You're just going to move on to the next, and then the next, and then the next. You might find yourself then sitting in chair number 3, which is the chair of indifference. This can happen as a defense mechanism. You cut off people from seeing that vulnerable side of you. You don't allow any girl to ever really see that they can emotionally affect you. You just play it cool like it doesn't really matter. And all this really does is shut you out from actually developing an emotional, deep connection with someone because you're probably too scared of actually getting hurt. However, let's say you're talking to a girl and things are going well, but the conversation starts to die out. The chemistry really isn't there, her replies are less frequent, and she eventually tells you that she's no longer interested. Now, if you approach that from a place of being inquisitive, you want to understand why, what went wrong, and what you can do better next time, that may put you in the 4th chair, which is the detective chair. Here, you're making the conscious decision to not react impulsively, but to be thoughtful in your approach. Instead of just determining why she didn't respond or why things didn't work, you're willing to say, what went wrong? What can I do better next time? It's that openness and curiosity that really allows you to perform better in future dating scenarios. Plus, it ultimately makes you a way better communicator. Now, let's say you've been dating someone for a while and they decide to break up with you. You ask them what went wrong and they drop some hard-hitting truths on you. You were a bit manipulative and controlling in the relationship. You were kind of a toxic partner, or you were just too boring to date. Hearing any of those can be soul-crushing and make you just want to totally give up dating altogether. But instead, you take that information, you take that advice, and you choose to learn and work towards being your best self. That's going to put you in the 5th chair, which is the chair of growth. You know that you're not a perfect person. Dating is a learning process. As you spend more time with another person, you begin to understand their wants, their needs, and their desires, and you start to feel more comfortable sharing your own. There are going to be awkward bumps along the way. You're 2 different people that are coming together. Of course, it's going to happen. But if you take the mindset of being open to growing and learning and changing, you're going to allow yourself the freedom to make mistakes and to not beat yourself up over it or to beat your partner up because they're not perfect either. When it comes to dating, you have no control over the way that another person thinks or acts. All you have control over is how you choose to respond, and the chair that you choose to sit in is going to influence your dating decisions moving forward. So which chair do you find yourself most commonly in? The chair of judgment, self-destruction, indifference, detective, or growth? Leave your comment down below and we'll talk about it. On that note, I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace.